We will go ahead and open up the proponents. The first one we have is Representative Pat Proctor. Welcome to Fenn State.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, committee. My name is Pat Proctor. I serve the people of Leavenworth and Fort Leavenworth in the House. I'm the sponsor of this bill and carried it in the House. So as the chair of the Elections Committee, I get a lot of questions from voters. And over this last cycle, one of the main main questions I got from voters was about our non-citizens voting in our elections. And so in the off season before we came here, I decided to start looking into this and see if there's something we could do in statute to address this concern that voters have to, improve voter confidence that it's not occurring. And the first thing I discovered was that it's not actually in statute anywhere that you must be a citizen to vote. You heard the description from the reviser of the language in the Constitution. It never really occurred to our framers that you had to say that only citizens can vote in the state of Kansas, so they didn't put it in there. They said they were looking at not disenfranchising citizens. You couldn't prevent a citizen from voting without due process of the law. And so they never actually explicitly said it. It's also not in statute anywhere. Really, the only place that it's addressed is in a 100-year-old court case about who could hold a county office, because county offices are sort of treated as state offices for the purpose of elections. And in there, it says you have to be a U.S. citizen. But a future court could look at that precedent and overturn that. And so I thought it was important to just put explicitly in statute that only citizens can vote. I'll leave with this because I want to make sure that Ms. Harps gets a chance to testify as well. I spoke to the Pitt State University College Republicans the other day, and I got the question from somebody in the office who I imagine was not a Republican, but could have been, why don't we let non-citizens vote? They pay taxes here just like we do. Why don't they get to vote? And I really thought about that question before I answered. And, U.S. citizenship either means something or it doesn't. If, we're unique in the history of the world as a country. Before the United States, a nation was a common people with a common language, common ethnicity, common religion. That was a nation. And if you weren't part of that ethnic group or that religion, you were another nation. This is the first nation on earth which was multi-ethnic, multi-sectarian. But what makes us a nation is we all swear to uphold a central principle, which is, we all have the God-given right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and we're all equal under the law. And I think that it's important that we preserve what it means to be a U.S. citizen, that you have sworn to uphold those principles. That's why you have the right to vote in this country. And with that, Madam Chair, I'll stand for questions at the appropriate time.
All right, thank you very much. Next, we have Becky Arps with Americans for Citizen Voting. I just have one real quick, Representative. You mentioned statute and Constitution. I know we have HCR 5004 in front of us. Is there something mirroring this to also codify to put in statute as well?
Yes, Madam Chair. We ran a bill, and I believe you guys have heard it as well, House Bill 2020, that requires the DMV to share the citizenship data that it already collects quarterly with the Secretary of State's office, so they can scrub our voter rolls to make sure non-citizens are not on the voter rolls.
So then to follow up, what if only the statute passed and this did not? What do you see happening?
That's a great question. Somebody could challenge that statute in court, and because there's nothing explicit in the Constitution that says only citizens can vote, this Supreme Court or some future Supreme Court could overturn that previous precedent, and then it would be a free-for-all in Kansas.
All right. Thank you very much, Representative.